What up, YouTube? I am Dom Knight. This is Knight Talks. And we are back with another burning question. Guys, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Trying to hit 400 subs by the end of February. Big goal, some size, my eyes on the prize, and I can't do it without you. Appreciate your help. Guys, today, I've been having conversations lately, and I've just been hearing this brought up more and more. And so the question of today is not having children selfish? Okay. Now, a lot of people say it is. I actually hear more people say that it is selfish than it isn't. All right. And I never really understood why. So I decided that we should break this down, and we're going to go through some things and see why it is or is not. Okay. So let's talk about the main reasons you should have kids, okay? Because, let's face it, reproduction has to happen. Whether it's you contributing to it or someone else, it does have to happen, and it's gonna happen, all right? So let's talk about why you should. Number one, you bring in a contributing member of society, all right? In order to keep this thing we got called the human race going, we need to keep the earth populated. We need to reproduce, okay? Not everyone needs to have 10 kids, but we got to keep this going. And in order to keep this going, we have to have kids. We have to have kids that are coming in, adding into the economy, contributing in one way or another, and helping us advance the human race into the best version it can be. In order to do that, we need members of society, okay? Humans are social creatures, and we thrive off of each other. So in order to make this thing work, we got to work together. And we got to keep adding new pieces to the puzzle. Number two, continuing the legacy of your family and keeping your name going. All right? There's a lot of people on this earth that achieve a lot of great things, and they would like to keep their legacy thriving by continuing their name and reproducing. That keeps you going, you know? You see a lot of these big corporations, franchises, businesses, they were started, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, and they're still going hard and going strong till this day. Why? Because the family, keeping that legacy going. People buying into this, all right? Having kids and doing this, you got to do it. You want to keep your name alive, you got to have children. It is what it is. It's a part of the game. All right. Number three, to give to something that's bigger than yourself. To me, I think having a kid is one of the biggest, actually it is the biggest responsibility in the world. Having a child is not something that you just do, okay? You don't just do it like, hey, I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm gonna have a kid. No, this is something that's big. It takes a lot of work, and it takes giving up a lot of yourself to contribute to something that may be bigger than just you. All right? It takes a lot of sacrifice. I don't think any parent in the world, no matter how well off they are, no matter what they have, opportunities they're afforded, I don't think any parent in the world can say that they have sacrificed nothing in having a child. All right? So those, to me, are the main three reasons you should have kids. Now, there's going to be a host of other reasons why you should have kids or may want to, obviously, all right? But I think that boils it down to the main reasons that one should possibly have a kid if that's what they want to do, all right? So, that's a decision, though, that someone has to decide if they're ready for, all right? But on the flip side, we have to talk about reasons you probably should not have a kid or multiple children. All right. Now, this list is much longer than the reasons you should, but like I've said before, that doesn't necessarily mean one outweighs the other. Number one, you are not in a committed, exclusive relationship with the person. Guys, we all know 2-parent households are going to make for the best outcome for the child. We can go through a whole bunch of statistics that show that. You can look those up yourself. I'm not going to get into all that today. We're going to keep it general. But we all know that having both parents in the house is just going to provide a much more balanced household, and the kid's going to grow up in a much more thriving environment. All right. They're not going to, the financial is going to be better. The education is going to be better. It just is what it is. Stats will show you that. Okay. It will. Number 2, you aren't financially stable. I never understood why people have kids and can't afford them. Then you have those people that have kids and they keep having more kids and still can't afford them. Like, you thought 3 was hard. What made you think 6 was going to be any easier? I never got that. I never understood it. It made no sense to me. Then people feed off the government, and, you know, now we're paying for your kids as taxpayers. It gets messy. All right. I personally, it's me. If you can't afford to have a baby, I don't think you should have a baby. Like Michael Jackson said, you can't have a baby, and don't have a baby. Don't do it. Number 3, you don't like kids. There's so many people on this planet that have kids, multiple kids, and can't freaking stand them. They don't like them at all. They look at their kids and they just get annoyed. Every time they ask for something, they're ready to slap them across the face. I'm like, why'd you have kids if you don't like kids? I never understood that. If you don't like kids, don't freaking have them, okay? I can't stand when I'm out somewhere and I see a mother with their children and she's just screaming at them and cussing at them and acting. I'm just like, why'd you have these kids? You don't like being a mom. It's like, man. Number 4, you are impatient. And this can go further than not liking kids, because there's some people who don't like kids. There's people who don't mind kids, but they just don't have any freaking patience. And to have children, especially small young ones, you have to be a patient person. Kids can get annoying. Kids need stuff. Kids bother you. Kids, they want your attention. They want all your time. If you aren't ready to give that up, if you're impatient, you probably shouldn't have a kid. Number 5, to save a relationship. I think one of the worst reasons people have kids is to try and put a spark back in the relationship, thinking a kid's going to be a glue that's going to mold you guys back together. 9 times out of 10, it's going to work in the opposite effect and drive you guys apart quicker. If you're going to have a kid, do it for the right reasons. Do it because you're in love. Do it because you want to continue your legacy. Do it because you're ready to give to something bigger than yourself. All right? Because you want to start a family genuinely, and this is something you want. Number 6, to use them as financial gain. Just like we talked about with not being financially stable. Some people have kids just to make money. I did a reaction to some TikTok clips a couple weeks ago. And one of the clips had a lady in it, and she talked about how she has 6 different fathers. So she did a math equation, and it broke down how much money she gets monthly from having a child with each of these 6 different men. And it actually equaled out to like 3 bands or something like that. It was like almost $4,000, which, hey, that's not bad. If she's getting that, plus she's working on top of that, this woman's doing all right. She's doing okay. That's a good amount of money. She's making $4,000, and then if she works a job, maybe, I don't know, even part-time, she could be bringing in $5,000 a month. That's not bad money. I mean, you got 6 kids, but that's not terrible. You're doing okay, making enough to live. So, number 7, it contributes to stress. If you're already a stressed out person and you get shaken up really easily and stuff, and you feel life is hard, I don't think having a kid is going to make that any easier. I think it's just going to make it a lot harder. It's going to make your stress levels higher, which is just going to shorten your life in the long run. Okay? And then A lot of people end up resenting their kids because they feel like, oh, you know, you stopped me from doing this or that. And then that's not the kid's fault. It's yours. You had them. It was your decision. All right. So if you're a stressed out person and you're not ready to deal with more of it, I don't think you should have a kid. So we're going to keep it at 7 there. All right. That's why I think you shouldn't have kids. You know, if you fall under any of those categories, any of them, don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. I'm going to talk about myself for a second before we wrap this up and answer the question. Me, I do not have any children. My mother drilled in my head when I was young, Dom, don't have babies. Dom, don't have babies. Don't have babies. Because she didn't want me to come home and tell her at a young age that I got some girl pregnant. Okay. I was pretty smart as a kid. I was pretty safe. But that's not what she wanted. She didn't want me to be a teen father. And I fully understand that. Yeah, I fully understand that. Especially coming out the black community. But it's almost like she drilled that in my head to the point where now it won't go away. Me, myself, I don't want children. I don't. And with each passing year, the desire for them just keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And it's not that I don't like kids. Okay? It's not that I can't afford it. It's not that, you know, I don't feel I'd be a good father. I think I'd be a great father, actually. But it's not something I want to do. Because I feel I would be selfish if I did bring children into this world. And I'm going to tell you why. Because me, I'm honest enough to tell you guys that I'm too wrapped up in my own stuff to be trying to have a kid. It's that simple. I work out all the time, okay? I like doing YouTube, making my videos. I like hanging out with my friends. I like doing a bunch of things, working, doing all this stuff that I just don't have time to give my undivided attention to a child. It's not something I desire. It's not something I want. I'm too focused on making my own dreams happen. I have a lot of hobbies, interests, and things that I am putting a lot of effort into to take things to the next level. Okay? And I think me having a kid right now at this moment in time would just not be fair to them because I wouldn't be able to give them the father that they would deserve. And I think it's selfless of me to be able to admit that I'm too selfish to have a child. I'm going to be honest. I thought as I got through my 20s that my desire would increase, and it hasn't. I just don't have the desire. And I don't think that it's going to change anytime soon. Not to say it won't change in the next maybe 5 or 10 years. I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it for me. But I think people have to be honest with themselves and know that this just may not be for you. I've had pressure from my mother. Now it's to the point where, you know, I'm older. My mom wants a grandkid now. She's getting older. My sister ain't giving her none. I ain't giving her none. She's like, well, what the hell? Well, Mom, sorry. Shouldn't have put that in our heads so much. Seriously, though. She's putting pressure on me. You know, I have people in my life, friends and family, and that, you know, they think I'm crazy that I don't want any. They think it's nuts. They really do. And I'm like, I just don't get why. And then I look at some of these people's lives who do have kids, and they're miserable as hell. They can't stand themselves. They can't stand their kids. They're broke. They ain't got no time. They can't do things they want to do. And I'm like, I wake up, do what I want, you know, get my money, and it's all for me. I don't have to throw it out in a million different ways. You know, if I want to sit around in my drawers all day and watch freaking cartoons like a kid, I can. If I want to eat peanut butter and jelly for a week straight, I can. You know, if I want to take a vacation, go somewhere for a week and just disappear and not tell anyone, I can. If I want to spend money and buy something stupid, I can. Because I don't have any responsibilities outside of myself. Okay? Hell, having a pet's a responsibility. You know, that's like half a kid. But seriously, I live on my own terms and do the things that I want to do, when I want to do them and how I want to do them. And I don't think I would be afforded this luxury if I had children. When you have kids, everything you do, you have to think of them first. It is what it is. Okay? You do. And anyone who's watching this as a parent, you know what I'm saying is true. So guys, I'm going to say a person who's responsible enough to not bring a kid in this world and not do right by them is not a selfish person by any means. Being selfish is telling someone that they're selfish because they're not doing what you want them to do or what you think they should do. That's selfish. So guys, I think you know where I'm going with the answer. The answer of the day is no. It is not selfish to not have kids. If you don't want to have kids, don't. Screw what anybody says. That is up to you. Ladies, same thing. All right? A lot of people think you were put on this earth to reproduce. Hey, if you don't want to have kids, or you know you're not going to be a good mom, or you know it's not something for you, then don't. There's people who physically can't do it. We're going to call them selfish? No. Not everybody wants to adopt. Not everyone wants to be a parent. And that's okay. As long as they're not out doing anything bad and they're contributing to society and being good people, nothing wrong with not having a child if you choose not to, okay? Guys, I am Dom Knight. This is Knight Talks. I think this was a fun little conversation. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. I'll toss my social medias right there. Follow me on Instagram. And I'll be back on Wednesday with the reaction.
That's nice.
Peace.
Rack it up. I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up. She got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up. I got some gas, some packs. I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up. I'm with the gang. We taking shots off the rebound.